Nationalism is the aspiration of people with a common language, culture, and traditions to be unified. Nationalism grew into a movement after 1815, influenced by literature, music, politics, and economic developments between the northern Germany states. In the 19th century, Germans debated the German question over whether the German nation-state should comprise a lesser Germany that excluded Austria or a greater Germany that included Austria. The faction led by Prussian Chancellor Otto von Bismarck succeeded in forging a lesser Germany. Aggressive German nationalism is viewed as having a key factor in causing both world wars. Otto von Bismarck was born on April 1, 1815, at his family's estate in Prussian heartland west of Berlin. His father was a fifth-generation Junker, and his mother came from a family of successful academic and government ministers. Throughout his life, Bismarck would emphasize his rural Junker roots, underplaying his considerable intellect and cosmopolitan outlook. William I became Prussia's king in 1861, and a year later appointed Bismarck as his chief minister. Though technically deferring to William, in reality Bismarck was in charge, manipulating the king with his intellect and the occasional tantrum while using royal decrees to circumvent the power of elected officials.
Germany was not united until Otto von Bismarck got involved. Otto von Bismarck was able to form alliances with great powers to get done what he thought had to be done. Under the rule of William I as King of Prussia, he elected the wild Bismarck as Chancellor of Prussia. At the age of 47, Bismarck was well educated and thought he had what it takes. He was very devoted to his country Prussia and always seeked the best for it. In his eyes, if he could get Prussia to great power, he thought it would bolster Prussian pride and would be of best interest. He was a man of preciseness and did not initially have a great master plan. He always waited for the perfect opportunities to seize them right away. It all started with his interest of taking the German-speaking lands, Schleswig and Holstein, away from Denmark. There was always tension. Otto von Bismarck allied with its neighbor Austria in order to fight Denmark for these lands. Denmark, however, lacking support from many countries, lost the war against Prussia and Austria. It was at that time Bismarck wrote the Treaty of Gastein, supposedly discussing how Schleswig and Holstein were to be shared. Intentionally, Bismarck made this treaty extremely vague with a lot of loose ends in order to pick a fight with Austria in the future, as he knew very well that Austria would stand in his way of unifying Germany. Bismarck then got Leopold of France on his side and allied with Russia and Italy. Leopold gave him a tip of how to destroy Austria in the war. Of course, Bismarck kept this tip for future use whenever he thought it would be necessary to use. 2 years later, Bismarck started to prepare for a war with Austria. The Austrians were so angered by the breaching of the Treaty of Gastein. Everybody in Europe thought that Austria would win the war, but in reality, Prussia had a better military system, more technological advancements, and a better railroad network that allowed Prussians entry into Vienna. Prussians destroyed the Austrians, and the Austrians eventually gave up Schleswig and Holstein. Austria also finally recognized the North Confederation of Germany. In order to unite the southern parts of Germany, Bismarck waited for the perfect opportunity. But he did go and show them the tip that Leopold gave him. He believed that they definitely will regard Bismarck as a protector than the supposedly aggressive France. It was not until Queen Isabella of Spain got deposed and Spain was looking for a new monarch to replace her. Spain approached Prince Leopold, a distant relative of William I, to replace her. He first denied the offer but later changed his mind. It was this Spanish candidacy that gave Bismarck his golden opportunity. The French foreign minister sent Vincent Bendetti to protest to William I to make Prince Leopold change his mind. William I first accepted, but when the French pushed their limits by saying he can never appear as a candidate again, William refused. These conversations took place at the Bad Ems resort, and they were polite. William I later sent a dispatch to Bismarck detailing these conversations. Bismarck was angry because he was left out of this family affair. He then proceeded by editing it to make it look as if they have traded insults. This caused a lot of tension and made France declare a war on Prussia. Bismarck already had many allies in the south of Germany by his side. France ended up losing the war, but that did not mean Prussia treated them leniently. They annexed the province of Alsace and Lorraine and made them pay an indemnity of 5 billion francs. They occupied their country until it was paid. Germany was now unified and the Chancellor appointed William I as emperor, but Prussia clearly ruled the most. This eventually led to a structural weakness of Germany because when William II came into power, he thought he was sent from God and could do whatever he pleased. This caused a lot of conflict between them, leading Bismarck to end his rule as Chancellor, and Germany was never able to function correctly again without him.